Lee, why should we actually care about our urban areas?
Well, first let me thank CAP for coordinating this event, sponsoring it with AFSCME. We believe that this is a discussion that's long overdue. That in fact there is a tragedy going on within our urban centers across this country. The lack of jobs, the lack of good paying jobs, and we've got to talk about it, not only on the labor side, but business, academics, elected officials. All of us have got to think outside the box to talk about the problems that exist in the urban areas right now. You know about the Detroits of the world. You've heard about Atlantic City. You've heard that some of these cities are actually having a comeback. But if you look at those specific comebacks, you will see that, in effect, it's in just smaller areas of that particular city. And that, in fact, when you go outside of that area, you see a lot of poverty. You see a lot of joblessness, problems with public education, with the infrastructure. So we believe that we've got to have a dialogue. We've got to have a conversation collectively, thinking outside the box and saying that our urban areas are the engines of our states for job growth and job creation, and that we've got to pay particular attention to resolving this problem and rebuilding our urban centers across the country. We view this discussion as the beginning, not the end. We believe that this should be a priority not only of the federal government, but it should be a priority, and we should coordinate our activities between the federal, state, and local level to resolve the problem, to provide quality jobs in these urban areas, to provide employment, to provide hope for people who reside in these areas and just want to, they're playing by the rules every single day, and they want to have a chance, and they want to have an opportunity to achieve that American dream. So we're very, very excited about this session, and we're looking forward to having more dialogue on it. I'm getting a number of things out of this discussion, but there are a couple of words that people have constantly repeated, and one is collaboration. And as a matter of fact, someone said there should be collaboration rather than contention. Unfortunately, in many cases, that's where we begin, in a contentious mode. I can give you a variety of examples. In Detroit, for example, where the first thing when it went into bankruptcy, they were looking at cutting retirees' benefits who earned on average $19,000 a year. They were looking at cutting those benefits by 40%, just out of the box. And obviously we had to react to that. I mean, our members and our retirees live in these communities who are affected. They care about the communities. They provide essential public services. But rather than starting off in a contentious mode, it seems to me that there are enough examples that we've talked about here this morning where we can collaborate and we can bring all of our community together. Whether it's the nonprofit community, the small business community, government, labor, elected officials, corporations, and we can sit down and we can creatively talk about resolving these problems. And I think that's what's missing in many cases. I mean, we've got to bring this discussion together and bring everyone at the table so we can honestly have dialogue about how we can rebuild our structures, the infrastructure, our educational system, provide decent housing, provide quality jobs in these areas across the country. And there are examples that are out there. People are doing it, but we've just got to talk about it and put it into a plan, a strategic program, a strategic plan to get the job done. Well, let me just once again thank you for what you've done as far as pulling this together. You've gotten a good amount of recommendations and suggestions, so CAP should be able to resolve this problem by tomorrow.
Our report's coming out tomorrow.
Let me just say this, and this is what I'm getting out of this, and again, this is just a discussion that I believe is a beginning. We should continue it, and AFSCME is committed to that. But let me just highlight a couple of things that I've heard constantly today. One is that jobs are the key to rebuilding our cities. Good jobs are at the root of all the other social and economic challenges that really must be addressed across the country. So that includes improving education and establishing pre-K programs, investing in public safety, addressing health disparities, and preserving affordable housing. Here's something else that I've heard today. We cannot gentrify our way to a better tomorrow. Every community has got to be included in this discussion, and every community has got to have the opportunity to advance and to make a better life for themselves and their families. And we need to invest in our infrastructure across the country. And we're going to need help going to need some resources coming from the federal government, but also from the private sector to do just that. I really am excited about this endeavor that we're undertaking. I think that this is the right thing to do. It's an important thing to do. We have the examples of where we can be successful all across the country. The trick is going to be to pull those examples together and to bring people together rather than continuing to fight and argue with one another, and talk constructively about how we can rebuild the urban centers across this country. So thank you, Nira.
Thank you.